Okay, it's day 64, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about kind of the DynCorp trio. DynCorp, if you haven't watched it in this series, it goes all the way back to, I think day 100 in this series, so that was almost 340 days ago. I've talked about this, but this new development here, which is this organ harvesting, seems to have come out of the old business, the old DynCorp business, or you could say CIA if you wanted to, but I hate uh, pasting CIA as a big entity. I think of it more like this rogue group at DynCorp. But it's always near the drugs and oil. Always near the drugs, guns, and oil. Drugs, guns, and oil. Some people call it the God industries. The fourth one they've added is this kidney business. Now this is Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi and the kidney center at Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi was the old capital of Pakistan before they moved to Islamabad, but it's still the head of the army, Pakistan Army, and Pakistan Army intelligence is the key intelligence. ISI is based here in Rawalpindi. Now, if you zoom out a little bit, you'll see all the obligatory hospitals that are always around it, and then you always have the obligatory mosque for money laundering. And I believe that this mosque here near the kidney center is going to be the first one I would check. The first one I would check. Oh, it looks like they moved the mosque off the map. This would be the first mosque I would check for suspicious activity reports for money movement. This Cuba mosque. I don't know if that's a laugh or a wink out to the old Cuba operations or not, but I would check all Cuba mosques for suspicious money transfers with Imran Awan. So these organizations use these kind of color of law organizations to actually run these things. DynCorp is always runs under the color of law enforcement. And again, people think, oh, the whole CIA is corrupt. No, it's more these small groups that are kind of splinter groups off of the main group because they don't want to share. Bottom line is, if you're in this business, if you're in the rape, pillage, plunder business, if you want to quote Fleischer, if you're in the rape, pillage, plunder business, oil goes with police forces to guard the oil pipelines, which goes with drugs, which goes with human trafficking, which goes with the organ. I mean, the whole thing goes together. If you want to do that, you want all the money for yourself. You don't want to give it away to a whole bunch of other people. That's why these splinter groups. Now, I'm not saying this Inspector General of Afghanistan is that group. I'm not saying that, but they do have a lot of enforcement folks with guns running around. Now, these are auditors with guns. These are auditors with guns. This is like Teresa Grafenstein having a group of guys that look like FBI agents running around with guns. Well, as a matter of fact, I've been over to the Ford office building and I've seen them. She has them too. So what is this with the special, investigator generals running around with guns? These are basically Secret Service little groups that can be used, unfortunately, if you were in JTTF, for whatever you wanted. You could use these for, turning somebody's room upside down, looking for a weapon, right? That might have happened last night while I was saying that there was somebody in JTTF that was the key to this case. Anyway, yes, task force's room was turned upside down. Even a chair removed. They're making a video right now. The police were very, very rude to her. Now, I wonder if the guy who came and visited me from JTTF, and I asked him, I said, have you met Andy McCabe? He said, oh, yeah, many times. I'm like, oh, well, do you work for him? Are you an FBI agent? No, I'm not an FBI agent, but I know him. Well, I wonder if he works over there in Arlington, right by all the silver arrows, the uranium-1 arrows going in all directions all over the world. Just wonder. I wonder if that's his office. So anyway, this cigar here, give yourself a cigar, maybe a Cuban cigar. Give yourself a cigar because this is the special investigator for Afghanistan. 200 guys. Now, isn't that war over with? But no, the 200 guys are still there. They're still doing all kinds of raids and searches, okay? Seems a little odd. Trump should shut these things down. These are the things that are the color of law. Now, I'm not saying they're the ones who turned over her room last night. It could be anybody. But again, auditors with guns is always a bad idea. The IRS has auditors with guns, okay? So I think the police, if an auditor wants to go in, they should get a warrant with a police officer and not have auditors with guns. I don't see anything in the Constitution that says, hey, we should have auditors with guns. That sounds like a really good idea. Anyway, Bygone made a nice comment here. They have 322 ongoing investigations and special projects. Special projects meaning they can do anything they want. Special projects. Does that sound like the investigation of Hillary's email? That's HQ special. And then look at who they work with. They work with the Department of Defense, the State Department, and the USAID. Again, why not just have the FBI investigate it? I think the FBI stands for Federal Bureau of Investigation. And you go out there as an auditor with the FBI and you get a FISA warrant. How about that? Rather than have these all these groups, these subgroups, with and auditors with guns running around doing investigation. This is an obvious area of cleanup. And again, everybody thinks, oh, we have to completely redo the CIA. I say no. It's these splinter groups that get created and then have a life of their own even after the war is over.